Andy, I started in September of 2015, and we started, interestingly enough, our clients sort of said, you've done a good job in the US, but what about the rest of the world? And so I've been focusing a lot on education, particularly in the more developing, developing markets. And I think we're moving into a stage where brand safety will become a commodity. I think within a year or 2 years' time, marketers simply won't buy from publishers who don't guarantee them a brand safe inventory. And by brand safe, I mean not just contextually brand safe. I mean ads that are viewable by a human in the right demographic in a safe environment. That's got to be kind of some sort of a quality dimension like that, and that's going to be table stakes for vendors. And it's going to become a commodity quite soon. And so whilst we spent the first year kind of doing a lot of education in the marketplace, making sure that our teams globally were equipped to manage brand safety and risk assessment for clients, and we've given them as many of the tools and the education as possible. In 2018 and 2019, we're focusing on compliance. In other words, making sure that our teams have spoken to as many of the clients as possible, that we're monitoring viewability, that we've set benchmarks that are higher than the country average on things like viewability and invalid traffic. But also we're trying to take the conversation, the brand safety conversation, from limiting risk onto another level now. What we found is, because of the way we buy from mainly premium publishers and in a brand safe environment, not only are we limiting clients' risk, but the advertising is working better. It kind of makes sense. If your ads are more viewable, and if they are more viewable by more humans, the ads will work better. And so I'm trying to convince our clients and the community as a whole that by buying better quality, yep, maybe the CPMs will not be that low, or they'll be slightly higher than they are at the moment, but it'll be worth it. So we already have done a couple of studies around the world in various countries, and we're trying to do more and more of these, proving that brand safety not only limits risk, but it works better, so that buying quality actually sells. And this is where we think we should take the conversation to after brand safety becomes kind of table stakes.
And what about privacy? It's different around the world. We've heard a lot about the Facebook and the Cambridge Analytica debacle. We've heard a lot about the changes, impact of GDPR. What about sort of privacy and how that impacts media?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think we're now a month away from the onset of GDPR. It certainly has had an impact, a heavy impact on us in Europe, but not just Europe, around the world. I think particularly Google and Facebook's decision to limit access to measurability, and in some cases access to brand safety tags. I think that's going to affect us. We're still assessing the impact of that, but certainly we have more limited programmatic now than we did before the time. Of course, programmatic makes up a relatively small percentage of our overall total media, but it has had an impact organizationally on GDPR. Has had an impact, but I do think some form of data regulation was going to be forthcoming, certainly in Europe. And because Google and Facebook can't or should not create regulations just for Europe, they're going to have to do them globally. I think that has an impact around the world. I mean, Cambridge Analytica has made the public and particularly the marketing community sit up and be concerned about consumer reputation and respect for consumer data. I don't think that it's had a huge effect on the consumer usage up to now. Facebook tell us that usership is not down, and not very many people have taken advantage of the hashtag delete movement. So I don't think that consumers are as concerned as we may think in the marketing community, which is good news, because it gives us time to act and respect consumer data.